Okay, so we're heading out to the ranch today. It's Thursday afternoon. We left about 2 p.m. It's 3:14 right now. We'll probably get in there at like 6, depending on how fast Laura lets me drive. Our plan this weekend, we're going out with Johan, Steve, and David as well. They're in Johan's truck behind us. And our plan is to go and pick some of the back paddock areas and try to clear a hillside or two of some of the weed trees that grow through there. So our ranch, when we got it, had been kind of neglected for, a guesstimate of at least 10 years. And this kind of, the Magdalena Medio area is very like rainforesty, not rainforesty, but tropical. And so it grows, shit grows back super fast. If you were to leave this ranch, again, in 10 years, it would be completely back into forest. It's the obvious areas of where there was a paddock. It's still obvious some good grass in there, but the trees have grown through. So we're gonna go through and just kind of clear cut where it should be just straight grassland. So we've just bought our second chainsaw. Steve has a finca and he's got a chainsaw there that he brought with him. So we'll have 3 chainsaws and one guy with a machete. And then we're gonna have Eduardo, our lead cowboy, out there with us with a weed whacker. So he'll come in and kind of clear through the underbrush, and we'll come in right behind him, chop the trees down, then cut them into piles, pull them there, and we'll burn them in the next couple weeks here. But the idea there is that we've really focused on the paddocks that are close to, check these trucks out real quick. No, it's not safe. We've been focused on the paddocks close to the house, and we've neglected these back ones. So these back ones we've never really touched. We've brought cattle through there, so that we've been cycling those paddocks out, but we've never done any major work on it. We've taken paddocks offline, burnt them completely to the ground, reseeded from scratch. So we have some really good paddocks we've done that to. We've just never done that to the back paddock. And it's probably about, the back paddock section is probably like 200 acres. So there's a lot of head potential there. So that's what we're gonna focus on this year and aim to be able to get our head count from being able to handle about 200 to be able to handle about, even if at the end of the year we get to 250, I'd be happy with, but 350 is our end goal, but obviously we're not going to get there right away. But 300 would be a fucking rock star move. Would be really nice. This, by the way, is a new tunnel. When we first bought the ranch, this tunnel wasn't here. We used to have to go through a windy one road thing. I think this tunnel alone saved us 2.5 hours off the trip. That trip used to be 7 to 11 hours depending on this fuckery. And now it's 3.5 to 5 depending on the same amount of fuckery. So pretty cool. Pretty sweet. What is it? How long is the tunnel? Like 6 kilometers? Our goal is to come in here. These paddocks have been left alone for the last 20 some odd years, and the trees start growing back into them. And the main tree that grows is this one right here, Pasture. It's like a weed tree, and it comes in and blocks out the light for the good grass. So our goal here, if you pan around, Maya, is to come through and clear these trees in the center of the paddock, leaving the good trees, like the trees for shade, because you want a tree for shade every now and again. So when you got cattle in here, it's better. But we're going through and just thinning out, trying to get an idea of how long this takes. So when we go and bid out the job to the workers, they do them in jornales. So they say, oh, this paddock is a 5 jornale. That means 1 man day. So we just want to kind of have a rough idea. If it takes us a half an hour to do that area you just saw that was kind of cut, we know that we have 0 skill. Right? This is the first time I'm using a chainsaw, and so we'll be able to have a better idea. 1, 2, and it's fun to get out of the house and do shit, right? So let's see. cleared out a good amount. We probably only worked for 15 minutes straight. Oh, fuck this. These trees here, we don't want to cut these ones. It's just those ones that look like the ferns. Catch my breath, and then I'll walk back to my horse. Hard. It is hot as fuck out here. It's like, I don't know, probably 105 and 99% humidity. It's a killer. So you work for 10-15 minutes, you die. These guys come out here that have been used to working, and they'll work all day. They barely sweat. I come out here, I've almost died out here one time, really close, like legitimately almost died of heat exhaustion. Got stuck out here, had to walk back like 2 miles. It was fucking brutal. But anyways, you see the way I was cutting that one. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I just watched a few YouTube videos, and the part that I got one, they always do like the V into it and have a way for it to fall. I was just doing one cut because I just wanted it to, I don't care which way it falls out here. 1, 2, I think the main thing that I picked up on was you want to make sure that your body's out of the way of the line of the chain, so if it breaks, it doesn't cut you. And so if you saw that I was like trying to think of what side I should be on, obviously my former's probably fucked, but that's my main thing. And that was a crazy thing. So we were all about to leave early this morning, and I had a load that I'm looking after, have a fuck up on it. And so I had to stay. So the guys came out without me, and I met them out here. And I got out here, Johan's sitting there kind of white in the face, and his pants have a cut mark on them. He said he was cutting with a chainsaw, and the chain flew off and hit him right. His cut is like right through here. Luckily, I guess the RPMs weren't up. It ripped his pants, but it didn't cut him. But that's how people die, right? It hits that fucking, I don't know what that artery is, a carotid artery, or maybe it's, I don't know, the one in the leg that bleeds you out and it kills you. I remember a story when I was a kid, my brother told me, is that his friend was driving in with his 4 kids or something in his car, and a tree had fallen over his driveway. So he told the kids, stay in the car, I'm gonna go grab the chainsaw, cut this tree out of the way. While he was doing it, the chain broke, hit him in that artery, and he bled out in front of his kids. So I'm definitely afraid of a chainsaw. I mean, it's fucking so much easier. We also have a sawzall out here. You see Johan out there, he's got a sawzall in his hand. But that's stupid, right? Super slow. The chainsaw just rips through these things, rip and dip. But definitely fun to do for a little bit, but definitely something for a professional out here. And these guys are professional. Their skins are like leather. They don't get affected by the heat as much. They retain water better. I don't know, but fuck. Anyways, brutal. I'm gonna do another half an hour, then I'm gonna get on my horse and I'm gonna get dilly-daddling out on my way. Get the fuck out of here. Pancho follows us everywhere. Made himself a little bed in the brush. Pancho, Panchito, what are you doing, Bubbas? Huh? I bought Pancho 4 years ago, and then I raised him from a pup until he was like 6 months old or 8 months old, and then I brought him out here and left him with the cowboys. Everyone's like, that's really fucked up, but this dog belongs out here. This is all he wants to do. Every time we go on a ride, he comes along with us running, and he jumps in every lake, every river, and swims across, and he is the happiest dog in the planet. So he's his breed doing what his breed's supposed to do. Over here and see Eduardo. Eduardo's the lead cowboy. Normally he's doing fencing and things like that, but weed whacking today. We call that out here guadagno. And so when the weeds get this big, you can't just spray them with poison. You got to cut them first and then come back and spray them. And so they'd come through with a team of 3 or 4 guys and cut down that weed. And then they'll come through in 2 or 3 weeks when it starts to put new little greens out. Then you spray it. And there's a type of poison, I forget the name right now, but you spray it and you can spray it over everything. And you see in here, this is wide leaf weed, but this is good grass. So you spray over everything and it only kills the weeds. It's like genetically modified to only kill the weeds. So you do that, you spray it. What you're doing is you're giving the grass a fighting chance. Once the grass puts a deep cover on, the weeds won't grow as much, but it's a consistent battle because you're bringing the cows in here. What do the cows eat? So they're only eating the grass. They're only fighting against the grass, natural growth, but they don't eat the weeds. And so the weeds have no natural predator, and so they grow up more. The idea again is to get thick enough out here where there's not enough sunlight for the weeds to sprout in the first place. And it gets easier and easier and easier. Once you weed whack once like this, you do rounds of fumigation every 2 or 3 months, and that way they never get a chance to get big. You never have to weed whack again, so you save your money. We were talking about hornales, right? One workman working day. So they charge more per hornales for weed whacking than they do poisoning. So the idea again is only have to weed whack once. Again, we haven't been back in this paddock because we're about 2 kilometers away from the main house. So it takes a long time to get here. And we were focusing closer to the house, you know what I mean? But now we're starting to say, hey, let's focus on this because there is some good grass here. And if we give this grass a chance, come through, weed like this, and then leave the cows off this for 4 or 5 months, then this will all go to seed and it'll naturally kind of spread itself and keep coming through and poisoning every 3 months. And again, like I said, it'll get easier and easier and easier until we're fucking badass operating a ranch. And you see that tree, so that's the tree we want to cut down. And you see all into there, and you guys are gonna think, oh, you're cutting down forest. That's not natural forest anyways. That's growing in. We'll leave some of those good shade trees and some of the trees covering the river that rolls through here. But we want to get this whole hillside cleared out. And this could be a beautiful grass hill and host an extra 3 animals on the lot, right? And so we do that little by little. Every time we gain, we're getting more animals. We do a kilo per day gain per animal, and that's how we calculate how much money we're generating. We weigh every 3 months, and we calculate, okay, gain, let's say in 3 months, 90 days, we'd say 70 kilos of gain per animal. We then divide that by the 90 days and say, okay, we have 0.6 kilos per animal per day gaining. And we get 8,500 per kilo. You have 150 animals, or call it 100 now, if it's 0.6. That would be 60 kilos a day in gain times 8.8 thousand pesos. And that's how much you're making each day. And so the idea eventually is to balance it, obviously, but we are way the fuck out of balance. Because if you were just maintaining, like this was good grass, you'd have 2 guys, you'd have one other guy working the cattle and every now and again fumigating. And so you'd be spending 1/10 the money. Instead, we're spending money on seed, right? Because sometimes if a paddock's so bad, like this one's not that bad. If you look up on that hill, that's all bad grass. That's the poor man's grass up there. If that's the case, we come through with the hard poison where it kills everything, and then we would poison it, let it go all to brown, and then light it on fire, and then come through an hour or 2 after the fire and spread our seeds. We've done that on probably 100 acres already, and that shit's expensive. It's expensive. So it's like 300 bucks an acre. Yeah, it's not, well, maybe it's even a little bit more than 300 bucks. I don't know. My head's all heated up right now, so it's hard to think, but it's expensive and it takes time. And then when you plant, every time you plant, you think, okay, well, no, it's just gonna sprout grass, right? Well, no, you're wrong. Little bits of grass will sprout, but what will sprout the most is those weeds, and those weeds will grow fucking like wildfire. So you come back in 2 months and you'll see a paddock that you just put all this money into and it's all weeds. So like the first 2 times this happened, I was having like a panic attack. I was telling the cowboys, what the fuck? Like, it's part of the process. So then they come through and they fumigate, gives the grass keep growing a little bit more, and then you fumigate one more time, and then the grass will be grown out. So, I mean, again, it's a lot of effort, man, but it's also rewarding. You know, as you start to come back and see these paddocks like bright green. This whole ranch was like this paddock when we got it. And if you see in some of the videos, like some of those paddocks now look fucking tits. It wasn't by accident. It was blood, sweat, fucking tears. At least it gives us something to do, right? Happiness is a problem to solve.